St Andrews Cathedral is a ruined cathedral in St Andrews, Fife, Scotland. It was built in 1158 and became the centre of the medieval Catholic Church in Scotland. It fell into disuse and ruin after Catholic Mass was outlawed during the 16th century during the Scottish Reformation. The ruins indicate that the building was approximately 390 foot long and is the largest church to have been built in Scotland. The cathedral was found to supply more accommodation than the older church of St Rule. This older church, located on what became the cathedral grounds, had been built in the Romanesque style. Today, there remains the square tower that stands 108 feet high. Work began on the new cathedral in 1158 and continued over the century. The west end was blown down in a storm and rebuilt between 1272 and 1279. The cathedral was finally completed in 1318 and featured a central tower and 6 turrets. Of these remain 2 at the east and 1 of the 2 at the western extremity, rising to a height of 100 feet. On the 5th of July, it was consecrated in the presence of King Robert the Bruce, who, according to legend, rode up the Isle on his horse. A fire partly destroyed the building in 1378. Restoration and further embellishment was completed in 1440. The cathedral was served by a community of Augustinian canons, the St Andrews Cathedral Priory, which were successors to the culdees of the Celtic Church. In June 1559, during the Reformation, a Protestant mob, incited by the preaching of John Knox, ransacked the cathedral. The interior of the building was destroyed. The cathedral fell into decline following the attack and became a source of the building material for the town. By 1561, it had been abandoned and left to fall into ruin. At about the end of the 16th century, the central tower apparently gave way, carrying with it the north wall. Afterwards, large portions of the ruins were taken away for building purposes, and nothing was done to preserve them until 1826. Since then, it's been tended with care, an interesting feature being the cutting out of the ground plan in the turf. The principal portions, partly Norman and partly early Scottish, are the east and west gables, the greater part of the south wall, and the west wall of the south transept. At the end of the 17th century, some of the priory buildings remained entire, and considerable remains of others existed. But nearly all traces have now disappeared, except portions of the priory wall and the archways, known as the pens. The cathedral is now classed as a monument, and it is in the custody of Historic Environment Scotland.